will say this, and I think it'll surprise people. The fact that this bond...
Hold on. Sir. I have to stop you with the camera, as I can see you. So do me a favor. Don't pull it out again.
And The View, you don't need to find Trumpers. You need to fire your race baiters.
Yeah.
You need to fire the two races. You've had people. You had a McCain on there. You've had people on there before, and you ran them off. Mm-hmm. So the racist ones who want to stick to this, Whoopi and Sonny, and was it Bette Midler?
That's right.
Broke-ass
Tyrus just took the risk that no one else was willing to take. He shouted The View. Yes, even Whoopi Goldberg was not above the law. Seeing a sumo wrestler flip the tables at a tea gathering is like that. It grew heated, petty, and just plain funny. You'll be shocked by Whoopi's response and his words. Grab some popcorn. Comedy wrapped in complete chaos is what this one is.
Remember, too, the Iranians literally throw gay people off of buildings. They don't adhere to basic human rights.
Listen, here's the thing. Let's not do that, because if we start with that, we have been known in this country to tie gay folks to the car.
Where the Iranians came in
I'm sorry. They used to just keep hanging black people. So
it is not even the same. I couldn't step during this.
Tyrus, the weird thing about The View was that Dylan Mulvaney was the most feminine person there.
Yes, he was. Somebody.
Before we go any further, click the like button and subscribe because you know you don't want to miss this. It started like any other morning on The View. 5 women trying to outshine each other. Whoopi Goldberg sitting like she's seen too much and trembling coffee cups. You could just hear the chaos brewing before the cameras even rolled. Then Tyrus came. His comments were as potent as a truth bomb in a room full of echo chambers, despite the fact that he wasn't actually on the show.
It's only in America can a black person sit on a TV show getting paid millions and millions of dollars to have the floor and can say, it can interrupt people because she interrupted her.
Yeah.
And if according to her, life was like in Iran, it was for black people, her interrupting and speaking in public would have led to a stoning.
Yeah.
Like the ignorance, you live in a country where you might feel a certain way, but here's the one thing about America that makes it different than anyone else. You have an opportunity, even as dumb as the...
He didn't roll his eyes. All Tyrus did was what he does best. Remove the circus with gentleness like you would while ordering lunch. It was the man's I'm not impressed spirit that The View couldn't take. Tyrus's words don't follow the drama. He makes it follow him. Like a terrible thought that would not die, they follow him.
Hire them and bring people in. Maybe you could get McCain to come back. She was a Republican, but every show and every break, she was nearly in tears because she was being attacked. So the problem is that you have to go after the racist people. And if be the CEO goes, you know what? I'm not going to allow a woman on my show or man that will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people. And this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racist on TV who could just go all day and say...
You see, The View has built an empire on disruptions, contradictions, and pretending to have discovered the truth every single day. It's more like a verbal WWE match than a chat show, but with more caffeine and less rational reasoning.
She has an opportunity tomorrow. They won't fire her over that.
Yeah.
She'll have an opportunity tomorrow to come on and fix it. Will she? She won't. But that's the thing about this country. Black, white, gay, straight, short, tall. Everyone's going to get hit with something. But the beauty about this country is there's always an opportunity for you to better yourself. So shame on you, Whoopi. Play the black card somewhere else because don't work here in America.
You know the irony?
Next up is Whoopi, the supreme arbiter of chaos. She stays cool until the storm says something she doesn't like. The calm suddenly disappears and Category 5 judgment mode takes over. You're about to regret your entire opinion, she says with that expression.
And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Yeah, you know, Emily, could you imagine yourself on The View as like taking that job. Let's say they find something really ugly in your past, you get fired from Fox. That could happen, by the way. I never burned those photos. But I mean, could you do that?
I get very sensitive.
Tyrus saw right through it. He shouted it out with an unflappable heavyweight sneer, as if he had seen every move before it was made. He brought attention to the reality that viewpoints can suddenly change from promoting unity to causing division.
Sure, all that, and the price of butter. Sonny gets the game ball. If it wasn't for her, asking that question, it might have been.
What made it so striking was the delivery. There were no raised voices, no dramatic gestures, just razor-sharp, dry humor and truth so precise they could cut glass. While the panel likely saw themselves as arbiters of modern wisdom, Tyrus treated their self-importance like a poorly staged comedy sketch. Leaning back figuratively, he simply asked, "Really? And what counts as a conversation these days?" Ironically, The View has long tried to present itself as a voice of reason, yet every episode often feels like a message garbled through a faulty game of telephone. Tyrus's take, though, was both hilarious and painfully accurate. He likened their enthusiasm to people who argue, but only when everyone agrees, a phenomenon you know well, discussion until someone disagrees, which then devolves into dangerous rhetoric. He didn't need to overstate it. His delivery was crisp and precise, and that's what makes him a threat to shows like The View. Their usual tactics don't work on him. He doesn't require applause. The power of his truth is self-sustaining. One carefully crafted comment, it was said, could inflict more damage than an entire season of fiery debates. Naturally, Whoopi wasn't thrilled. The challenge in trying to lecture Tyrus or anyone who refuses to indulge nonsense is that guilt trips simply don't stick. His clarity and composure render conventional theatrics useless, leaving only the truth to speak for itself, and it does so with devastating, dry effectiveness.
And love, Whoopi's right. I mean, it's been rough for us. I mean, you saw what just happened to me in the last segment. I'm trying to talk, and all the white people are like, "That's Tyrus. I can make a phone call." You know? And it's.
How did that make you feel?
I felt very black.
Did you feel black?
It's word, Tyrus.
Yes.
Just started.
By the way, thank God black people don't do that in audiences.
Yes, yeah. No, we just talk the whole time and say how to do the show better.
He's been around long enough that a TV spat doesn't faze him. Calmly, he declares, "You can't cancel me. I've already left the chat room." And that's exactly what drives someone like Whoopi wild. Her reaction stems from a conventional mindset, fatigue mixed with authority, as if repeating the same line since 1997 should automatically make everyone else agree. Yet Tyrus wasn't rude. That's what made it sting. He didn't yell, he didn't mock, he simply highlighted the absurdity of the situation. To him, their inflated egos were like balloons begging for a pin. One quiet, precise comment and pop, they deflated. He pointed out that The View spends 30 minutes bickering over trivialities while pretending to be a groundbreaking show. It's like watching breakfast table philosophers debate, except they're quoting tweets instead of Aristotle. The brilliance of it was in the delivery. No personal attacks, just the dismantling of an echo chamber masquerading as empowerment, moral posturing passed off as discourse, and outrage performed for show. Naturally, that infuriated Whoopi. And of course it did. Tyrus wasn't just commenting on the surface. He was exposing the very soul of the program. The unspoken rule seems to be that the loudest voice equals the right one. Tyrus ignored it entirely. Calm and composed, like a monk standing in a rainstorm, he refused to play the game. He smiled, figuratively of course, reminding everyone that true confidence doesn't need a co-host and that quiet precision can land blows louder than any shout.
Oh, nothing really comes to mind. I was like, ching. Listen, they're bitter, they're angry, they're entitled. They also should be. This should have been a reset for everyone who pushed lies and misinformation for the last. They call them Hitler, they call these things. America rejected them. And instead of coming back and saying, we lied, they instead are now doubling down. So let her keep doing it, because if she keeps that up, we're going to keep getting the Senate and probably the House and the White House, because people see right through your lies. So keep doing what you're doing. Game ball to Sunny.
When was the latest internet outage? Some people thought he was too tough. Some say he just had the guts to say what everyone else was thinking. The funniest part is that the perspective didn't even acknowledge how effectively they illustrated his thesis. The following day, the panel was forced to respond. They suddenly found themselves the objects of unfair criticism. They twisted themselves into intellectual pretzels in an attempt to defend their disorder as structure. It was like listening to someone defend why their cat needed a driver's license. Fun, but delusional. He knew exactly what he was doing. He dropped his statements like breadcrumbs, letting the punchlines come from the reactions. Even though she insisted that we don't need to defend ourselves and that we are superior, the internet made sure she did. Suddenly, every clip, every side eye, every disagreement was accentuated. That's the issue with The View. It's a program that hates to be told the truth, but loves to tell it. Tyrus simply reaffirmed to them that genuine confidence is independent of praise or permission slips. Their definition of tolerance, which he ridiculed, is to either agree with the panel or go into exile.
Next, Joy's gonna say she's never heard of carbs. Seriously, her denial of knowing me is as believable as her red hair. But obsession? I mean, come on, Joy. Where would you even get that idea? Like Joy Behar's face, it's looking worse and worse by the day. More full of crap than Joy Behar after a night of scotch and Taco Bell. Her being named Joy is like me being named Ugly. Joy wasn't there on the show. Apparently Mondays are her.
The audience's collective gasp upon realizing that the emperor might not be wearing clothing was audible. Whoopi's response was anticipated. The veterans' here we go again stance, cocked head, and sigh. But underlying all the flair lurked a quiet frustration. Someone had faced them and done it better than they could handle for once. Because Tyrus's roast was limited, it was excellent. He didn't try to exert any influence. All the heavy lifting was done for him by the truth. Every quiet strike has a force that a scream could never match. Suddenly, their tirades sounded like rebuttals. Their laughing was a little too strained since Tyrus had done the unthinkable. He had been so calm that The View had seemed unimportant. The View's greatest achievement is that it manages to make daytime TV seem like jury service, he said in a subtle but caustic way. A conversation cloaked in punishment. He didn't even need to mention names, which was the best part. And everyone knew who he was talking about. You have no choice but to deny when the reality hits home in that manner. After then, the online criticism became more negative. Whoopi's eye-rolling video were intercut with Tyrus's calm smile.
Kind of some news. The feral monsters of The View say they've never heard of you-know-who. True, the show that makes mornings hell claim that my name doesn't ring a bell. It's time for...
Our view on The View. Ugh.
Yeah, the witch's coven finally shows me some lovin'. Yesterday on The View, yours truly was the subject of conversation. Apparently the broads have no idea who I am, or so they say. Hit it, Gladys.
That contrast was humorous. Similar to seeing a mountain being pounded by a tempest, even people who had never seen The View started to tune in to see what all the buzz was about. A roast worked that way, and you can tell when it revives the object of its mockery, albeit not in the manner intended. By the end of the week, Tyrus wasn't even on the agenda. It's related to what he disclosed. Half of the audience is always left out by the contradictions, the performative fury, and the conceit that we speak for everyone. When he turned the mirror around, The View didn't like the reflection. In her usual rhythm of quiet, then mayhem, Whoopi tried to brush it off, but her tone was unmistakable. Someone had been annoyed by Tyrus. He only wished to remind them that real conversation does not require emotional staging or chords. Sometimes all you need is someone brave enough to say, "You sound ridiculous." The microphone fell when he encapsulated their essence with ease, articulating The View as it has always been in private. A round table of contradictions driven by moral superiority and caffeine. Whoopi's expression conveyed everything. She didn't need to answer. The silence could not be broken by a reply. It was one of those rare times when someone from outside the bubble cracked the fourth wall, but everyone inside the bubble pretended not to notice the crack.
Jesse was a 7.
Joy Behar calls her a 10. I mean, how dare she objectify a woman with a sexist rating system, but it's such a typical thing from a 1.5.
Because Tyrus's poise is so lethal as a result, it forces you to pay attention to yourself. In the end, The Viewpoint kept acting as though nothing had happened, but everyone else knew that something was different. The trick of magic had lost its effectiveness. The curtain is down, and there was nothing but noise behind it. no empowerment or wisdom. By weathering their own storm, Tyrus demonstrated that sometimes the loudest voice in the room is the one that doesn't yell. That's the reason it's so lovely. His roast wasn't very unpleasant. The secret was clarity. However, she secretly knows that Tyrus, with the accuracy and calm of a man who never even gets heated, demolished her empire. It's the perfect ending because of this. No applause, just silence. The kind of silence that says, he won. Because in the great comedy of modern talk shows, the phrase that leaves everyone else speechless might occasionally be the funniest. Tyrus had nothing to say either. He let the truth to rest there, grinning. Winnie, you got it. Seamlessly moving on from the conclusion, providing another 500 words of cutting, fluid humor while maintaining that serene, caustic, deadpan roast tone. Of course, The View couldn't end there.
It doesn't matter whether you're a comedian or just a regular old person who goes about their day. You have every right. It's your birthright as an American. If you're not happy with what's going on, you're allowed to say it. If you don't like how things are going, you're allowed to say it. It is your birthright. That's part of what makes you an American. It's part of what makes us different than everybody else. And we acknowledged all of those Republicans who recognized that it's not a right or left.
They must always have the final say, even if it's the wrong one. As intended, the next episode started off with the same pre-breakdown facade of composedness. You can see the look on everyone's faces, mugs up, fake smiles on their faces, as if they hadn't spent the whole night reading Tyrus's comments. Whoopi starts off by pausing for a long time before educating someone. But no one asked for a lesson. Instead, they used vague phrases like certain commentators and some people out there, as if the audience didn't know who had upset their group's equilibrium. You can tell Tyrus struck home when the entire panel starts speaking in code. In the meantime, Tyrus is probably enjoying coffee somewhere else, completely unaware of the storm that is brewing on daytime TV. As they continued to talk, it got unintentionally funny. The more they tried to look above it, the more it became obvious that they weren't. The image was parodying itself in a way. A group of individuals who passionately declare their indifference for 10 minutes.
Here's Joy Behar talking about refusing to share a kidney.
I find my friends with a Trump supporter. I won't give them a kidney, but I could be friends with them.
Hey, Joy, it's a kidney, not a pizza. Of course, she's kidding at first, but then she goes on to explain the moral foundation for her resentment, and it's the same one that drives all deadly ideologies.
Perhaps she sensed deep down that trying to outsmart a man who wields humor instead of anger was futile. And that's when it became clear to everyone watching, Tyrus didn't attack or destroy The View. He simply exposed it. By the end of the week, the show attempted to course correct, but the truth, like a bell that cannot be unrung, refuses to be ignored once it has been spoken. Every mention of civil discourse afterward carried the echo of Tyrus's calm, precise roast. The greatest misstep The View made was failing to respond. In doing nothing, they were unwittingly proving his point. They couldn't even grasp the joke that had been made at their expense. Tyrus remains unmatched in the art of the understated takedown, maintaining composure even under pressure. Sometimes the loudest statement isn't made with words at all. It's the quiet, measured presence that speaks volumes, and everyone else is forced to listen.